天天用心听，听见台北的声音。FM 93.1，幸福永远属于你。
公民总主笔，
方恩格时间。
谁当家？
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 你当家？
谁当家？
谁当家？谁当家？
谁当家？我当家。你当家？我当家。
我当家。
到底谁当家？你来当家。
Welcome to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station. I'm the host, Ross Darrell Feingold. Today, our guest is KJ Yang. KJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's my honor to be here.
KJ is the Secretary General of a non-government organization called the Good Neighbors, right? In Mandarin, the Taiwan Haolinju Xiehui, which is such a great name for a non-government organization. It sounds so friendly, like you tend to do something good, and that's why the name is Good Neighbors. I mean, I've had some really good neighbors in my life. I've had some terrible neighbors, but we won't talk about that as well. But we'll talk more about the good work that Good Neighbors does a little later in the show. But KJ, let's talk a little bit about your own personal experience and how you came to be involved in the non-government organization sector. Tell us which part of Taiwan you grew up in.
Actually, I was grow up in Korea, and then I moved to Taiwan to study my undergraduate degree, which is computer science at National Taiwan University. And then after graduation, I have a chance to join my college classmates startup. And fortunately, the company was sold to a Japanese list company. After 4 years, and then my classmates become very rich. And then I asked myself, is this the career goal that I want to pursue? And then I have another chance to do volunteer work in Western China. I saw the huge need. Then I decided I want to change my career to NGO sector. So in order to be professional, I went to New York University to study nonprofit management. And after graduation, I just joined an NGO. It's in West China. So I spent there for 4 years working in the field, which is a great experience. And then 5 years ago, because of my family issues, so we come back to Taiwan.
Well, before we get into all those details, though, you said you studied computer science at National Taiwan University about 20 years ago in the late 1990s. Looking back, what's different between studying computer science back then versus today?
Yeah, it's quite different. Computer science now become more and more popular because the blockchain, AI, these are very trending, and the industry need this kind of talents a lot. And you can see even in some of the elementary school in Taiwan, the school teach programming, coding, and so programming become another important language you have to learn, no matter your specialization. So you have to learn, no matter you are artist or you are a businessman. So the coding is an essential skill nowadays.
So back when you were studying computer science, it was more focused on the hardware or the engineering side and not so much on the coding side?
Yeah, we are focused on software side. But at that time, 20 years ago, Taiwan is more pay much attention to the hardware side. Taiwan has many manufacturers. But right now, there are more and more software company start out in Taiwan.
You said you worked for a startup earlier in your career in the tech industry. What kind of products did you work on?
Yeah, it's a Java platform in mobile. We are a software company. And so, before Android phone came out, we use smartphone. And in order to download the application, you have to have a Java platform. Otherwise, you cannot download the app. After iOS and Android phone show up, so people doesn't need a Java platform anymore. So I think the innovation is very important, no matter for private company or NGO sector. Otherwise, you may be kicked out in this market.
Now you said you grew up in Korea, but then you came to Taiwan for university, but then you went back to Korea to work. What was it like going back to Seoul to work after having studied in Taipei?
Yeah, at that time I was a sales manager and who was responsible for Korean market. So I have to station there and frequently visit my customers such as Samsung and LG. So they are global companies. For me, I learned a lot by talking with them, meeting with them, and they are very ask for high stand up. So yeah, it's good experience for me to work in Korea.
What about culturally? What's it like having spent some time in Taipei and then spending a lot of time in Seoul? What are the big differences? What are the big similarities that stand out in your mind?
Yeah, for me, I like to live in Taiwan more. So obviously,
well, we're glad to hear that, especially since we're a Taipei radio station.
Yeah, right. And all the Korean pay is higher, but the living expense is also very high in Korea, and in Taiwan is more, how to say, is a more friendly and cozy environment. And and most of my friends are living in Taiwan, so that's why.
And what kind of perceptions of Taiwan did a lot of your Korean friends have, your friends or the people you did business with? What were their perceptions of Taiwan at the time?
Korean, they basically they like Taiwan a lot, and so right. If I remember correctly, last year the Korean are the Taiwan #1 visitor tourist in Taiwan. So each year lots of people come to Taiwan to Jiufen, etc. Yeah.
And what about Taiwanese though? Do you find that they know a lot about Korea, or they need to learn more about Korea in your experience?
Yeah, some people maybe not so like Korean, but some people like Korean very much. I think maybe in the beginning, if you have chance to watch basketball games, so especially when Taiwan fighter uses Korean and then many people don't like Korean playing style, and then but due to the Korean drama become very popular now and many younger people they like Korean culture and K-pop, etc.
You said you learned a lot from Samsung and LG and those big Korean companies. From your experience working in industry both here and with clients over in Korea, how come those companies became such big global brands and Taiwanese companies struggle with that in the tech sector specifically?
Yeah, I think maybe different position, because Taiwan, lots of Taiwan technical company, they want to focus on ODN. So as long as they can get order, then they are certified to produce PC and laptop. But Korea, there are not many small medium sized enterprise. Korea in the beginning, they learn from Japan. They want to develop very big global company, which is good and bad sometimes. And and the Korean government, they also provide subsidy to Korean company and facilitate the industrial. So that's why the Korean big company can become international company.
Now that you have a lot of experience in the NGO sector as well, but you also worked in the tech industry, from your perspective and experience, do Taiwan technology companies do enough for the public good? I mean, do they do enough kind of corporate social responsibility? Do they do enough charity? I mean, in the news recently, there's a couple of big tech companies said they're going to buy vaccines for everyone in Taiwan. Yeah. Do Taiwan tech companies do enough for the public good? I mean, they make great products. We know that, right? They make great phones and laptops, but do they do enough charity?
Yeah, recently I have a chance to study CSR report, and surprising to me, the SDG report, many companies they start to draft SDG report, which is very good. So SDG was developed by United Nations, so it means so between company and NGO we have common language to understand each other, because private company and NGO they all care about SDG report, and so I think this is a good way to facilitate cooperation between company and NGO. But I also admit we should also acknowledge that some companies are doing CSR report just for marketing purpose. So I think so CSR report is just a minimum standard. I think if the company really want to do good thing, there are many choices as well. For example, they can join big corporation, and they also can be a social enterprise. And for example, I know the Taiwan the first big corporation is Domi, and they are basically selling LED lights. But if you buy one LED light, they will donate one LED light to the vulnerable family. So the vulnerable family can install this and they can save energy. So for this kind of commitment to the society is very meaningful, and I think I hope more and more companies can do more than a CSR report.
So the semiconductor companies, they could donate a semiconductor to people. I mean, how would they match that, right? I mean, obviously a company that makes laptops or mobile phones, they might give away some, but they're not going to give away too many laptops or mobile phones.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do they, what more could they do besides just give more cash?
Yeah. For me, because Good Neighbor has network in 46 countries, what I want to do is to ask Taiwan technical company and to cooperate with us in the developing countries. So what's their benefit? The benefit is because Taiwan need to be globalized. They also Taiwan market is not enough. So and right now, the company they want to spend more resource and they want to try to sell their product in Southeast Asia. So they can co-work with a Good Neighbor in Southeast Asia, and we can guide them how to make social impact in foreign country. I think this is the main strength of Good Neighbors.
You mentioned earlier that you had some experience after you went to graduate school working on NGO projects in China.
Right.
How challenging was that?
Yeah,
I mean, look, because you weren't involved in something political, right? I mean, you're doing stuff for vulnerable people, but what were the challenges?
I think their main challenge is culture shock, and I need to, because beside me, other colleagues are local people, and the place I live in was national poverty county, and so the county is very small, and because before I was in the big city, so I need to make friends with local people, and I need to understand the context of them. So in the beginning, I need to learn what's their culture, how they work, and how we can comply with our working practices. So that I also can work with a local school or local government, even if I am not local people, and how we can win their respect. So this kind of work I spent a lot of time to address it.
Could you tell us a little bit about some of the projects you worked on when you were in China? I mean, was it environmental related or poverty related?
Yeah, we basically we want to transfer the community to be a self-reliance after 10 years. So my work is basically we have several projects such as a health project, economic project, and child project, sanitation project, etc. And by doing this project with a local counterpart, we hope to empower them so that they can be self-reliant after we leave the area. And so we need to use the bottom-up approach, not tell them, yeah, we want to do this and just do it. And we need to ask community how they think, what they want to do. So by doing the project, we should know the ownership is very important. We say we are doing maybe we are constructing the school, and we say this school is belong to your community. So in order to make this school successful, you need to monitor this school. If this school designs well, whether they construct well, etc. So we invite local people to participate in the project in the early beginning. Yeah.
And you also worked a bit with colleagues in China, in Hong Kong, in Taiwan. Now, be honest, which place produces people who are really eager for NGO work? Because we sometimes think of people who they're more focused on making money, right? Or getting another degree, things like that. Some more materialistic, right? Which place produces people who really love NGO work?
It's hard to say. I met several young people from China, Korea, Taiwan, etc. But because of my background, I saw many people. They are very passionate about NGO sector. And what surprised me is mainland China. I have a classmate in NYU, and she's from China. And even if she's very young, she's very talented. She can go to the famous consulting firm. But she give out the job and do the NGO work, which is very surprising to me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's inspiring when people decide not to go make the money and instead do things for the public good. Yeah, I know it's been a while since you worked in China, but not just in China, but other parts of the world. You mentioned Good Neighbors does projects in a lot of over 40 countries. This kind of work, does it stop because of the pandemic? For example, you mentioned things like building schools and, in developing countries, whether it's China, Southeast Asia, other parts of the world. Does the NGO work doing these things, does it stop during the pandemic?
No, actually, the NGO is still working. For example, the social worker, they are required to pay a home visit once for a while, and due to the COVID-19 level 3, they cannot go to home visit. So instead they change it to call them. So by call them, I have online chat, so she still can conduct the works. And lots of NGO start to work from home, and it's just like what company do. Yeah, it's because NGO also have many administration works, which you also can do at home.
Is that easier to implement though in a place like Taiwan, where we're very internet savvy here? What about the other countries though, where NGOs might provide activities, services, training, things like that? I mean, how could you implement the programs amid the pandemic?
Oh, you mean the other country?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Good Neighbor Paraguay, and they will also need to go online to teach the students because their hardware facility or skill is not good enough. So Good Neighbor Paraguay, they provide training to the teachers, and they also made TV program which is about child right education. So kids can learn child rights through TV program, and we also have an online system which help them to have online class with students.
Have you seen other NGOs struggle though, with shifting their staff to working from home, for example, or doing some of the online, whether in Taiwan or NGOs in other countries? Do some have difficulty making this transition?
Yeah, I think the some NGO was impacted a lot. For example, in Taiwan, there are some NGO trying to recruit volunteer and invite them to the developed country and build restaurant room, etc. As for this kind of NGO, because they cannot bring people to outside, so they hit the most. Yeah.
Well, but what about the internal operations of an NGO, right? Just internally, do some struggle with staff working from home as opposed to all sitting in an office together?
Right. Yeah. I think it's depend on the CEO of NGO.
Yeah. So basically, every NGO needs a CEO or secretary general like you who comes from the tech background.
Right. Yeah. I see. Yeah. They really need to learn to do fundraising online or do activity online, because the activity is very important for NGO, because by doing activity we can raise money, we can advocacy. But right now we are not allowed to do activity. So some NGO, they start to do activity online. So if you didn't know how to do it, it's really hurt NGO, I think.
Is that something that Good Neighbors is providing advice to other NGOs on, how to do activities and fundraising online?
Yeah. I think tomorrow is our first time to try online. Tomorrow we will have a child education teaching class online. Hopefully we can support elementary students to learn child rights online. So you also can share their teacher's burden, because the teacher also suffer a lot due to the sudden change. So we want to help teacher to teach children.
Is that a Taiwan-focused program or outside
Taiwan-focused program. Yeah.
And do you have any of your own personal tips for working from home? What do you tell your staff, for example, or what do you do yourself at home to be productive?
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure if you heard about potato working style. Yeah, so basically you can focus on 20 minutes, and then you can take a rest for 5 minutes, and then you also can work 20 minutes, because right now we have too many online application, line Teams, etc. So even if we working at home, but we often interrupt by others. So we really need to have some time which allow you to concentrate on your works. Yeah.
Okay, so potato working style. That's KJ's tip for working from home. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll talk more about the NGO sector and about the important work that Good Neighbors does. You're listening to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station.
有长照服务需求、长照特别扣除额问题，请拨打1966长照专线，5分钟内通话免付费。一通电话让长期照顾管理专员协助申请长期照顾服务及解答长期照顾特别扣除额相关问题。以上内容由台北市政府卫生局提供。
爸爸应酬不开车，黄色嘟嘟安全多。应酬喝酒不过量，安全回家最上道。爸爸要平安回家哦。
喝酒不开车，开车不喝酒哦。让我们一起尊重生命，拥抱亲情。
亲爱的民众，提醒您定期清除排油烟机内部油垢。烹煮食物时，切忌分心做其他事情，并注意人离火熄。且厨房附近应设置灭火器，操作时保持适当距离。当厨房火灾时，严禁以水灭火。油锅起火也千万不要移动油锅，以免翻覆造成火势扩大延烧。以上内容由台北市政府消防局提供。
亲爱的朋友，您还在吸烟吗？快拿着健保卡到戒烟门诊，或拨打戒烟专线0800636363。提醒您，最近兴起的电子烟、加热烟，因为没有浓浓的烟臭味，就被认为无害。其实已经证实，新兴烟品都有二手烟及三手烟的危害，甚至还有爆炸的风险。我是义工蔡依林，所有烟品都 get out。我拒烟，我骄傲。
我是疾管署防疫师陈婉清。防疫期间，如果您是正在居家隔离或检疫的民众，请留在家中或隔离检疫场所，不可随意外出。若您在隔离检疫期间出现发烧、嗅味觉异常、腹泻、呼吸道症状或身体不适，请佩戴口罩，联系卫生局或1922，并依指示就医，不可自行搭乘大众运输。如果您有洗牙、健检等非紧急医疗需求，请先暂缓延后。
有政府，请安心。资讯由疾管署提供。
大家好，我是陈君医师。疫苗保护力是指接种疫苗的人与没有接种的人相比，减少了多少生病、重症或死亡的风险。所有的疫苗在开放接种前，都必须经过卫生主管机关确认安全性与有效性符合国际标准，并经由专家会议讨论来订定接种对象及优先顺序。符合条件的接种民众，经医师评估后接种 COVID-19 疫苗，可保护自己与他人的健康。
有政府，请安心。以上广告由行政院与疾管署提供。
家己电台家己主持的。大家好，我是郭文哲，我伫台北广播电台。
谁当家？
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 你当家？
谁当家？
谁当家？谁当家？
谁当家？我当家。你当家？我当家。
我当家。
到底谁当家？你来当家。
Welcome back to Residence Messenger. Our guest today is KJ Yang from Good Neighbors Taiwan, a non-government organization. Before the break, you mentioned the importance of moving fundraising and activities online for NGOs. You've also been involved in an organization called the APAC Blockchain Development Association. Very quickly, how does Taiwan compare to other places in Asia for the acceptance of blockchain technology, digital assets? How does Taiwan compare?
Yeah, if we say if we compare with Japan and Singapore, Taiwan is a little more conservative. I mean, for the government regulation, for example, in Japan, they consider virtual currency as money, but in Taiwan, the regulator consider it as virtual product. So it's a different concept. So the Japan is much more aggressive than Taiwan. They even changed their accounting rule and to accept virtual currency.
Do you think this is going to improve in Taiwan, or it's going to be a slow process?
Yeah, I think they're improving right now. The governments have made very clear regulation. They start to regulate the virtual currency exchange, which is a very good way. You know, the virtual currency is actually data, and data is never safe. It really easily to be hacked. There are many scams, as you know. So how we can protect this industry, also make this industry to become health is really relying on government and company and civil society.
In 2019, you helped create Good Neighbors Taiwan. What was your main motivation at the time? Now, you mentioned earlier in the show that you'd seen people make money, and then people want to do for the public good. But what was the gap that you were trying to fill in the NGO space?
Yeah, my personal dream is to eliminate the poverty, and the Good Neighbors mission is to build a world without hunger. So our goal is matched, and. Please allow me to introduce Good Neighbor a little bit. Good Neighbor was founded 30 years ago in Korea, and right now we have a headquarters in the United States. So we are operating in 46 countries, and very interestingly, Good Neighbor was granted United Nations Equal and Social Council General Consultant membership, which only give around only 20 INGO, 200 INGO has this membership status, and so the Good Neighbor is a very international NGO, and we want to bring the know-how and network and research to Taiwan, and we also want to be bridge of Taiwan to deliver Taiwan love to the developing country who are in need. As you know, Taiwan can help. Yeah, so I think this is a very good chance for both parties. Yeah.
What were some of the challenges when you began the Taiwan operation of Good Neighbors?
Yeah, I faced a lot of challenges. Firstly, it's very hard to recruit talent, and the second one is hard to do fundraising. And I think the root cause is we are not famous. People doesn't know Good Neighbor who is Good Neighbors. But fortunately, after 2 years, people start to know us, and they start to trust us as our fundraising and recruitment. It become much smooth than before.
How did you explain to people when you began the fundraising, why you were bringing this NGO to Taiwan? I mean, didn't people say, well, there are other NGOs in Taiwan, why you?
Right. Yes, there is a really good question, and I often challenged by asking this question. And we want to protect children, and right now in Taiwan we can see lots of news about child abuse, and we want to stop this problem. And there are many NGO are doing treatment. They take care of the victim, and we want to focus on prevention, how we can this kind of thing happen again. So the way we are doing is firstly we teach child rights. So we work with a New Taipei City, and we went to all the elementary school in New Taipei City. Our first priority is in remote area of Wali, Danshui, etc. Yeah, we want to help these people who are in need, so that the children can learn what's their rights and how they can protect themselves. But they also learn how they respect others. It's not good to bullying other students. So, but only train child is not enough. We also need to train their parents, teacher to have the right knowledge about child right, and we also need to change the environment. So, for example, our 2030 vision is to transfer Taiwan to be child-friendly homeland. So by doing so, we need to work on to make child-friendly city, child-friendly school, and child-friendly company. And right now, we are working with the New Taipei City government to to work child-friendly city. Actually, child-friendly city was first initiated by UNICEF, and they promote this concept in many countries. For example, in Korea, there are already 40 city was granted child-friendly city, and we want to bring this international trend and to Taiwan, and we want to work with the Taiwan government how to facilitate it and how to make child-friendly city so that people can respect children and no more child abuse again.
Can you tell us specifically what it means to be a child-friendly city? Because people in Taiwan, they love children. They're when people see children, they come over, they want to give it a hug and play with them. So what needs to be done specifically to make a place child-friendly?
I'm not sure if you heard about Child Rights Convention, which is a United Nations convention. It was signed 30 years ago, and many people, 192 countries joined this convention. And although Taiwan is not UN member, but Taiwan also voluntarily joined it and try to make good environment for the children. And basically, the children have 4 basic rights. Children need to be protected. They need to survive, and they have a right for participant, and they have a right for development, and so we have to build a good environment for them. And for the UNICEF, if you want to endorse as child-friendly city, they have 10 indicator. I will not talk to all, just a few. So if they have a monitoring system to check child right data, and if their budget used for child, and if they provide child right education, etc. So we want to work with New Taipei City government to try to help them fulfill all 10 criteria.
How's the progress?
Yeah, we have a child-friendly city forum with New Taipei City and Taiwan National University in November this year. Hopefully, this can be good start off, and then we also can invite other cities to join this.
What are some other activities that Good Neighbors has already done around Taiwan?
So for in the case of domestic, we provide child right education. We also are working with the National Taiwan University to research child right index. We try to see how was child right in Taiwan in every county, and for the overseas project, we are very lucky to get Ministry of Foreign Affairs funding to support our Indian water project. As you know, the water in India is very has many problems, and so this project basically we are try to help them find the underground water so they can drink clean water, and then we also work with Agriculture and Food Agency. They donate 16 tons of rice, and we deliver it to Nicaragua because Nicaragua was hit by two typhoon early this year. So by donating the rice, it can help them to have enough food for a longer period of time.
When you recruit staff or volunteers, especially for younger people in Taiwan, are they more interested in doing domestic programs or overseas programs?
I think the people who are want to work with a good neighbor, they want to support overseas, and so right now this is a good symptom. So many young people, they study international development program in UK or other European country, and they want to work in in international development sector in Taiwan, and so so many people are want to work for developing country.
You mentioned your work with local governments and also with the central government. Which level of government is more open to your ideas? I mean, do you call up a local government in Taiwan and say, this is what we do, we want to do some education programs for children? And do they ever say, no, we don't need it, we know what we're doing?
Yeah, right. And basically, they are very welcome for our participant. Yeah, because we are international NGO, and we also have UN membership status. So that is the reason why they want to work with so young organization like us, because we have international experience. So basically, they are all open, and I think the local government, they are more open to work with us, because they really want to make a difference. Yeah, so there are many different cooperation opportunities with the local governments.
Now that you have significant experience with several NGOs, what are some things that Taiwan NGOs do really well?
Taiwan, maybe you know the Taiwan NGO sector well. So what surprised me is right now more and more NGO are run by young people, and maybe they are just undergraduate students, but they also found NGO trying to help people in need. So I think this kind of new NGO, and they are very energetic and they are very innovative, and you can see their refugee for network 140 and skill for you, and they are all NGO but run by younger people, and they are very doing great job in their field. Yeah.
Is the NGO space becoming saturated in Taiwan, or is there still room for growth? Taiwan being a relatively small country, small population, do we have too many NGOs, or actually we don't have enough and we need more?
Yeah, I think the good thing is that I hope that there are more and more NGO will be created, because each NGO their goal is different. So as the times go by, we may have new need, and it can fulfill by new NGO.
And what can individuals do? People who are working or they have other obligations like family. I mean, people could give their time to NGOs, but that might be difficult. They could give money, but people might have a limit on how much money they could give. What else could people do to help NGOs?
Yeah, I think what people can do, they can, if they agree with the certain NGO, the advocacy, they can follow up their social media, and if they agree with this advocacy, then can share this advocacy to other colleagues, so that we can really make good environments for the children.
So people, they could give their time, they could give their money, but it's also very helpful for you when they follow you on social media,
right, yeah.
And when they share your materials with other people as well. What about celebrities? How important are they for promoting Taiwan NGOs? Because sometimes, like in the MRT, right, we see an advertisement with some celebrity who's like an ambassador for a NGO or a charity. How important is that?
Yeah, I think the celebrity is very important. Before we have honor to work with Zhang Junning, and she became our celebrity, and we have a press release, so she can attract many reporters to come and to broadcast. Yeah, but compared to 20 years ago, I think we NGO have more and more solution. Not only celebrity. Right now, you have Wang Hong. They're very popular in YouTube, and this kind of Wang Hong, they also can contribute a lot. So I think this is a good sign for NGO sector.
Okay, so any Wang Hongs who are listening to social media influencers who are listening to the show, we hope you'll contact KJ and volunteer to help Good Neighbors. KJ, we're almost out of time, so please tell our audience where they could go to find out more information about Good Neighbors.
Yeah, we have Facebook, and you just need to type Good Neighbor Taiwan, then you can find us. Please follow us and support us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, KJ Yang, for coming in today to talk about Good Neighbors Taiwan. You've been listening to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station.